Coach, while I wait on any questions, if you could take a moment to comment on your team as you enter the Arkansas game on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you. Certainly, this week, presents a great challenge from, Arkansas, another SEC matchup. Our first SEC game in Tiger Stadium, so I know our guys are excited. It's a rivalry game. It's a battle for the boot, which is an annual trophy between both teams, started back in '96. And both these, teams certainly understand these games have been close and hard fought. The last three games, I think there's been a 3-point difference in each game. So the kids know each other, recruit against each other. Actually, a couple of the players have played on each team. So there's a great understanding of both programs. Have a great deal of respect for Coach Pittman and, what he's been able to bring to Arkansas, a toughness and a physicality. Their defense is playing really well in terms of their total defense and their rush defense. And again, it's led by, KJ Jefferson, a 3-year starter, 50-something plus touchdowns and just a, big physical quarterback that brings a presence to the position. Outstanding running backs in Sanders and Green and, very capable wide receiver core. And, defensively, they got two of the top guys in terms of sacks in all of the SEC. So, looking at that, plus their special teams, they've got one of the better punt return guys, and he returned a punt 88 yards for a touchdown against BYU. So we're excited about, playing at home at Tiger Stadium, but we have to play with the same kind of competitive edge we played with against Mississippi State. And, that's college football is can you do this consistently? So that's what we'll be looking for from our team.
We'll begin with Wilson Alexander, the Advocate.
Brian, good morning.
Morning.
How did y'all discover that Greg had a brain tumor? Did that have any relation to the vertigo that arose in preseason with him?
Yeah, it was, we were trying to find out what, the symptoms were, and he had another episode, he had dizziness again on Thursday of actually I think it had been Wednesday of last week. Finally, we said that enough's enough, and we got an MRI, and that's when the tumor was located. So, the vertigo was just a symptom of what was obviously a larger issue.
Of course. Do you anticipate him playing again this season?
Yeah, that's so hard for me to even know, what there are so many unanswered questions. I don't even know that I could even begin to give you the medical pieces relative to the surgery to even give you an educated answer to that. I saw him in the hospital on Sunday. He's still coming out of, heavy sedation, so we weren't able to have a lucid conversation. But I know before he went in, he was pretty clear about playing again this year. But that's Greg Brooks.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Brian, how are you? Hey,
Good, thank
you guys obviously didn't face KJ Jefferson last season. What do you anticipate? How big a difference does he make for Arkansas?
It makes a huge difference. Just his presence, as a quarterback, he can extend plays, the size that he brings to the position. He breaks so many tackles, keeps plays alive. It forces, from a defensive perspective to stay in coverage. And then, when he gets out, it's getting him on the ground. So, he brings a huge dimension to what goes on, from a defensive structure standpoint. You have to be so sound fundamentally, and then, he breaks down the play, and, all kinds of things can happen after that. So it'll be a great challenge that we have this Saturday with him.
And Arkansas has been going through a transition on offense, obviously, with a new coordinator, Dan Enos, had some issues. What are you seeing from Arkansas's offense through their first 3 games?
Yeah, I think, you're going from, really a different structure on offense from Broyles to Enos. And so there's going to be some transition there. But, Dan's a really good football coach. He'll have that offense prepared, to look like Sam Pittman's, football team. They're going to be physical. They're going to take shots down the field. They're going to play smart football. They're going to complement their defense. So, when you really talk about it from my perspective, they're going to be a complete football team when they get to the point where everybody knows what they're doing on every single snap. It's a scary team to play as they continue to develop.
Thanks.
Next is Grant Hall of ESPN Arkansas.
Hi, Coach Kelly. I was wondering if you might possibly be able to relate to your team how well it has played since the early loss, and then comparing that with what you might expect from Arkansas coming off a loss.
Oh, yeah. We talk about it on Monday in terms of knowing that we're going to get Arkansas's best. Certainly, I just say, hey, put yourself in Arkansas's shoe. If we didn't play well against Mississippi State, you can imagine the paint would be peeling off the walls in this building. And our expectations would be, through practice and how we prepare, and we would be coming out, ready to play. And that's going to be the case with Arkansas. So we're going to get their very best, and we're going to have to match and exceed that. And certainly, as I said in my comments at the outset, this is college football, and keeping young men at that competitive edge week in and week out is the biggest challenge that we face now. There are so many distractions, so many things that can get you away from where you need to be focused, and that will be the challenge for this football team, is to play with the same kind of competitive edge that they played with last week.
Thank you.
Next is Sheldon Nichols of the Baton Rouge Advocate.
Morning, Brian. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
I know you got a lot on your plate, but, getting your team ready and everything, but do you get a chance to look around SEC maybe on Sunday night or something to see how everybody did? A lot of people are thinking the league is down and that maybe it's kind of gotten a little more level playing field. Do you see that this year, and do you think in the way you guys came out of the woodwork last year that, things are evening out because of maybe NIL and transfer portal?
Yeah, I don't get a chance to dive into it, certainly in the manner that the fans would. But I get, bits and pieces of it. Certainly the narrative is because, LSU lost and Alabama lost, and, that it's down. But that's one game. We've got a long season ahead of us. Georgia's still the 2-time national champ in the SEC, so last I checked, they were still undefeated. I just think that's a new cycle kind of narrative. I think you just play the games and continue to do the things that you need to do, and that changes the next week. So everybody was talking about how difficult it was at Florida, and look how well they're playing. So I just think that all the teams in this league are difficult to play against, and I think we're, each coach in this league respects the others, and we just, I think we're all just really focused on developing our own teams.
Thank you.
That's going to be all your time today, Coach. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Coach, while we wait on any questions, if you could please take a minute to comment on your team as they enter the LSU game on Saturday.
Well, we're really excited to go to Baton Rouge. Fantastic team they have, playing extremely well right now. A lot of athletes, and but we're looking forward to going down there. Obviously, it's a trophy game. Our kids are excited to go down there, but it'll be a very, very tough task because they have an outstanding team.
We'll begin with Andrew Hutchison of the Best of Arkansas Sports.
Hey, Sam, I'm just curious how Rocket has looked the last couple of days at practice. Do you have an update on his status for Saturday?
I don't have an update on his status, but I can tell you that he's ran well yesterday and progressing faster than what I thought he might. And but I don't know whether he'll be able to play or not.
And then you have an update on Tank Booker as well?
He's going to practice today. He's had those knees are sore, and he's had problems in the past with them. But he'll be full go today at practice.
Next is Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Sam, reaching back a little bit for this one, but in 2015, your third game against Toledo had a bunch of holding penalties. And I wonder if you can, and you turned it around, it seems, from that point. I wonder, are there teaching points that you can have to, reduce penalties, or is that just a player's decision-making on the spot?
I think, Tom, that's good. I think it's a little bit of both, to be perfectly honest with you. I think you have to emphasize the heck out of it in your technique and in practice. I mean, obviously we've been doing that, and it didn't work last week, so we have to come up with a different style. We are showing the kids every penalty that we see at practice, and we're just trying to and most of it is technique or understanding when to say when on the edge of letting go of guys. But obviously everything that happens out there is on the coach. It's about coaching. But I do think that the players have to buy into winning the right way. And you don't win a rep or you don't make yards or lose yards by what you might perceive as a win. It's all about, have you done it within the confines of the rule? And so certainly it's a concern of ours and things of that nature, but we are obviously trying to fix it.
Gotcha. Hey, and Max Fletcher had been punting so well and pretty consistently through 2 games and even the start of game 3, but that 10-yarder felt like a kind of a momentum changer. And I wonder, is that just he hits one off the side of his foot, and how can he get better there?
He's been as consistent in the first 2 games. I was really, really pleased with him. He's been consistent in practice. However, I will tell you, Devin Bell, he's been punting the ball well also. So we will punt. We're going to start Max, but we will punt Devin Bell on Saturday because he's earned the right to do that, and that's no negative against Max. Maybe a little bit more concentration there and things of that nature, but competition helps everybody. But Devin's a really good punter as well, so we will punt him sometime on Saturday.
Next is Wilson Alexander, the Advocate.
Sam, you spoke to Greg Brooks on Monday, and it came out today that he's dealing with a brain tumor. When you think about Greg Brooks, who would you say Greg Brooks is? And if you were to describe him to people, what do you think sort of summarizes who he is as a person?
Caring, loving, smiles all the time, competitive, great teammate, great person, family. That was easy, by the way, because that's who he is. And was able to talk to Mama on Monday, I guess it was. And we're just continuing to pray for him. And but in a nutshell, and I mean this all my heart, he's a wonderful, wonderful kid. And that didn't change when he decided to go back to his home state of Louisiana. And we have prayed and will continue to pray every day for his health.
Thank you.
Next will be James Fletcher of On 3.
Yeah, hey, Coach. I just wanted to ask, relative to Greg Brooks and his medical situation, given his history with your program, of course, what's the significance of you guys facing LSU this week for everyone in your program who, of course, knew him and was close to him during his time with the Razorbacks?
It's amazing. You have to continue to play hard. You have to play in honor of, just like I think LSU did last week, in honor of Greg, and there's certainly a big part of that on our team. We're very competitive. We want to win. We want to do all that, but tragedies put in our life, we have to honor those times, and that's what we're going to do. But he was a wonderful teammate here, and I could not think of one negative thing to say about him or his family, and so it's tough. Our kids know it as well, but all we can do is represent him in the way that we play.
And then, having spoken with his family this week, do you have any plans to meet with them or him while you're down in Louisiana this week?
I can't really answer that right now because, I haven't spoke with Coach Kelly, and I want to make sure that, I don't want to overstep any type of boundaries there and things of that nature. I want to have high respect for them and their program as well. But if it's at all possible that we can, if I thought that it would help him, I certainly would do a lot of things. So at this moment, I don't have plans to see him, but I'm not telling you that we haven't talked about it and that it's not in the works as well.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Next is Coach Riley of the Daily Advertiser.
Hey, Coach. I was sort of curious, do you have any sort of story about Greg Brooks that sort of encapsulates what he meant to you and your program?
Well, the only thing that comes straight off, there's several, but the one thing that comes off the top of my head is we won a SEC game in 20-some games, and we go to Mississippi State, and Greg picks a pass for the first touchdown of the game and takes it all the way back for 7. It kind of sprung us into that win, and I'll never forget that and the look on his face, after that pick 6.
Next is Steve Moulton on WZZN.
Coach, I always appreciate the time you give us each week. I wanted to ask about LSU and specifically their third down conversion rate. It's clipping nearly at 58%. What impresses you about what you've seen out of that specifically, Coach?
Well, I think they're good in every aspect that you can be good at. It starts obviously with Daniels. I mean, he's incredible, playing incredible. But they're fantastic at wide receiver, O-line, tight end. I don't know if Taylor's back or not, but what a great player he is. They went out and got Diggs out of Notre Dame with Williams. They're just so talented that I think that you can't go, okay, well, they're going to give the ball to Diggs. Well, they might. Daniels may keep it, too. He's their leading rusher. So as he goes, they go, but they certainly have a lot of talent around him, and he's throwing the deep ball right now about as good as, I know that's not specifically the question, but he's throwing the deep ball about as good as you can throw it. But Coach Davis done a really good job with that offensive line. They were younger last year, a little bit like what we're going through right now. They were younger last year, and those 2 tackles have really improved, and they just got, they're a well-rounded football team. There's no area in there that they can't attack because of their talent. And so they can do multiple things on third down and have a lot of weapons to get the first down, move the chains.
How difficult is it to clean up the penalties mid-season, Coach?
I think penalties come different in each game. I do. You have different officials too. But penalties are lazy feet, and sometimes they come because you're wanting to have so much success that you strain or you hold on too long, and so certainly we are working to try to clean that up, and I believe that we will.
Thank you, Coach.
It's going to be it for today, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.